one of Jenny's favourite characters in the Bible. And it's about a guy called Joseph. And there's a few Josephs in the Bible, but this Joseph has a technical dream count. Okay? And he has a dream. And I was thinking about his story, and there's so many different things that we could talk about in terms of Joseph's story. But the thing that speaks to me the most about Joseph is the fact that God gave him a dream right back at the beginning. So he was probably really young, he got all his brothers with him, and God gave him a dream that his brothers would bow down to him. And he had it in two versions of more or less the same dream. And that was a dream that God gave him, that this is what's going to happen, this is how it's going to lay out, this is what it's going to look like. And Joseph honestly believed that and went in probably a little bit overly confident and a little bit too arrogant in terms of, you're all going to bow down to me. And that was a little bit much, and you shouldn't be that prideful. But he believed wholeheartedly in the dream that God had given him. But then everything that happened between that point when he got given the dream and where the dream came true, nearly everything was the opposite of that dream. He went from being a son of a landowner to a slave that was then thrown in jail, and who was thrown in jail with people who were linked to Pharaoh. He was in a foreign country. Loads of awful things, one after the other, happened to Joseph. And that dream seemed so far away. That dream that God had given him seemed so distant and so far away. And anyone who would have looked from the outside would have said, Joseph, what were you thinking? That dream was definitely not from God. You made it up. It's hilarious. And even Joseph himself would have looked around at what was going on, the fact that he was in jail or that he was a slave in Potiphar's household, and would have said, who's going to bow down to me? I'm literally a slave. But God worked it all, the plan and the purpose, to get him to where he needed to be able to interpret Pharaoh's dream and therefore get to the point where his brothers came in and bowed down to him. Really great story. You should definitely check out Genesis and have a read through. But that speaks to me. You know, sometimes God gives us a dream, gives us a hope and a real desire for something. But then everything in life seems to go against what that dream looks like. And it is very easy to lose hope and lose belief in that truth and in that dream that God has given you. Now, it's important to check that definitely came from God. And sometimes God fulfills a promise, but not in the way that you thought he would. And that you're like, oh yeah, I see what you did there, God, but it's not where I thought you were going with that. And it'd be very easy to be like Abraham in the Bible when God said, oh, you're going to have lots and lots of kids. And so, because his wife was old, he ended up having a baby with somebody else, and that created chaos that we're even facing now. That his two sons ended up fighting. It's very easy to try and put our own plans into place. But I really wanted to encourage you this week that when God gives you a hope and a dream, when God gives you a promise, that you should hold on to that. And sometimes you will get your answer straight away, and God will answer it, and God will come through, and it will be done. And sometimes it will take a few weeks or a few months. But there are other dreams and hopes that we believe are from God, and that God has promised us, and that we hold in our hearts, that take decades even, loads and loads of years to come to pass. There might be some that the grown-ups in your life are still holding on to, that they were given even when they were your age. And it's very difficult sometimes to be able to believe that that promise is going to come true. But I honestly believe, for the promises that have come true in my life, for the promises that are yet to come true, I believe that God has a plan and a purpose, and that God wants to give you the desires of your heart as long as they're in line with his purpose. So I want to encourage you that when God gives you a dream, when God gives you something that he has called you to do, or that he says he's going to give you or bless you with, whether that's a biblical promise or a prophecy promise, when he gives you that, to hold on. And even if the whole world and the entire situation is saying that's not going to happen and that's unlikely, even when you yourself start to fear that that is not going to happen, remember to hold on, because sometimes you are just somewhere on the journey to finding your way to the fulfillment of that promise. So don't give up and keep holding on to the promise, because like we've done in previous weeks, God is a God who keeps his promises. So just like Joseph was given the promise that his brothers would bow down to him, and they did, it took a very long time, but God worked it all out, and he will for your promise too.
Okay guys, it's been a while, but let's do some dancing.
You are holy, you're so worthy. God, you've won my heart. You're our creator, a loving father. You know me from the start. You are holy, you're so worthy. God, you've won my heart. You're our creator, a loving father. God, you've won my heart. I'm gonna put God first before anything else in my life. I'm gonna put God first before anything else in my day. I'm gonna put God first before anything else in my life. I'm gonna put God first, stop with nothing else in the way. You are holy, you're so worthy. God, you've won my heart. You're our creator, a loving father. You know me from the start. You are holy, you're so worthy. God, you've won my heart. You're our creator, a loving father. God, you've won my heart. I'm gonna put you first. I'm gonna put you first before anything else in my day. I'm gonna put you first. I'm gonna put you first before anything else in my life. I'm gonna put you first. I'm gonna put you first before anything else in my day. I'm gonna put you first. I'm gonna put you first before anything else in my life. I'm gonna put God first before anything else in my life. I'm gonna put God first before anything else in my day. I'm gonna put God first before anything else in my life. I'm gonna put God first, stop nothing else in the way.
The Ruth.
Yes, Jennifer.
Ooh, Jennifer. Ooh.
Right, it is Sunday after all.
I hear you've got some sad news.
I've got some sad news.
Would you like to tell us your sad news?
This is going to be the last Kids Church video. It's really sad, isn't it?
It is sad.
Yeah.
Do you have some good news to make up for it?
I do, but before I do that, I just wanted to say thank you for everybody who has watched all of the Kids Church videos, particularly if you're someone who watched right back at the start where it was just us two. In fact, the very first one, I think it was just me. You hadn't even come to help me yet, and it was just me in that pink, sparkly Minnie Mouse top in the house making it up, and we've progressed to having all this technical stuff thanks to Laura, but loads of people have played a huge part in it. Rachel did a lot of the uploading stuff before, a lot of the admin stuff. Laura has been absolutely amazing since we improved our tech. She's done loads of editing and lots of work, and I'm not saying it just because you're here, but I couldn't have done it without you, because you've just been the ideas behind it a lot of the time, and a lot of the creativity and the crafty stuff and support for me. And thank you to everyone who's tuned in and given feedback and joined in. And I know it's been a year of just having me talk to you, and I hope that that's not been too boring. But I am really grateful for your support, including the support of the grown-ups that have helped too. They've been great.
Oh. Okay, so good news?
So we've come up with a new plan. So we talked to God, because that's what you should be doing. And God started to say, probably towards the end of last year, that he was wanting, we got a Bible verse about him doing a new thing, and he wanted to start doing something new and a new approach. And that we didn't need to be scared about trying to change the way we did things and modify things, but that he was going to do something new. And we didn't know quite what that was. We thought it might be coming back to church and normality, but then lockdown 3 happened.
As if we're on number 3, guys.
Lockdown number 3 happened and caught us a little bit off guard. And we prayed about it, and we spent a lot of time with God, and spoke to some of you. We'd kind of got an idea about what we wanted to do, and one of you emailed in suggesting very much the same thing that we'd been saying, and we were like, do you know what, that really confirms what God's been saying. And so from next week we will be having Sunday school type lessons, type meetings, type fun together on Zoom instead, a little bit like the grown-ups are doing for Connect groups. We're going to do those on a Sunday.
Okay, and so can you tell me a lot? So we said we're doing a new thing. What is this new thing?
Well, if you take it right back to the beginning, we're kind of relaunching. So I took over the kids about a year ago. So if you remember, right back in March, I'd started doing the sessions with you. We were having lots of fun learning lots of memory verses. And I was like, right, okay, God's going to do this thing. And then boom, lockdown number 1. And I was like, oh, okay. And now I've taken on youth as well. And so with a lot of help from Jenny as well and some of the other staff, we just spent some time praying, and I feel like God's got a new plan for the kids and youth at Rotherham Elam.
And what's this plan called, Ruth Lecker?
It's called the 12-12 Ministries.
12-12 Ministries.
Cool name, right?
That's good. And what comes under 12-12 Ministries?
Okay, so it's basically everyone from being tiny of about 18 months is when they start coming out. So 18 months there will be a group called Bible Explorers, where they will just hang out and play because they're only little, but they'll start to do a little bit about some Bible stories, learn about who God is and play.
Excellent.
Then you get a little bit older, and we've talked to you about this before. So anyone who is at infant school, so anyone who is in FS2, year 1 or year 2, they are going to be God seekers. So again, lots of Bible stories, but crafts and a little bit more learning about, well, what does that Bible story mean to me and my life? There'll also be some things eventually linked to dance clubs and kids clubs where you can come and play and hang out with your friends and bring your non-Christian friends to. Bit of limitless minis for them, which will be really cool. You then go the step older and you've got junior school. So that's if anyone is in year 3, 4, 5 or 6. And they are called truth chasers. So we've explored the Bible, we've sought after God, and now we're chasing after the truth and everything that God is in our lives. So that's everyone at junior school. There'll be limitless juniors on Friday eventually, and again dance clubs and things like that, worship band type things that people are starting to get into at that age. And that age is really starting to make your faith yours, learning about what it means and some of the life applications. Why do we do the things we do in church? What does the Bible actually mean for us in our lives? Then the step up after that is year 7, 8, 9 and 10. So they are going to be faith finders. So that's when you've sought after the truth and you're actually finding your own faith, going out there for God in your life, standing on that faith, helping other people find the faith. So that's people at secondary school, which would at the moment be the youth. So they're people really, it's about finding their own personal faith and making it theirs. How are they, as what are becoming almost adults, going to have for their life? Again, they're going to have Limitless on a Friday, dance clubs, worship bands, all the kit and caboodle. And then the last group are the people who are in year 11, year 12, year 13 students, up to whatever age you want to stop coming, really. And those are the people who are our young adults. They are, they're going to start hopefully serving around church if they're not doing already. I know a lot of them do. So theirs is going to be much more of like a connect group like the adults are having, but they can still come on a Friday. And they're called the mountain movers, because once you've found your faith, you've sought after God, then with that faith that you found, you can move mountains. That's what the Bible says. So we're hoping that people will start coming as exploring the Bible and leave being able to move mountains with God.
Wow. So that was, summing up, that is 4 groups on a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Join church.
Yeah.
3 clubs on a Friday night.
Yeah.
Limitless Minis, Limitless Juniors, Limitless Youth.
Yeah.
3 dance clubs.
Yeah.
And a connect group for young adults.
And a worship band.
And worship band.
So there's a lot under.
There's a lot going on,
There's
guys.
a lot going on. And I'm not doing it all by any means. There are people much better is not a word, but there are people much better than me.
Indeed.
who are doing the different groups. So it's
Excellent.
not just me. Do not worry.
Excellent. So, what how's this going to start? What's the first thing that's going to happen? Like, that is a lot. Is it all going to start at the same time?
Okay, no. If Boris says that by some miracle the world is going to go back to normal tomorrow, then yes. It will all start Fridays, Sundays, any other day, and it will be great. But in the meantime, we're going to do it on Zoom.
Excellent.
Probably not all of it to start with, because you need to build up to it, we need to build up to it, and we're going to be learning as we go, a little bit like the videos at the start when we were learning to edit it. We're going to be trying to learn how to do Zoom. We know a lot of you spend a lot of time on computers for school, and we're very aware of that, but this is the only way that we could work out that we could connect with each other and still stay safe with COVID. So we'll probably start mostly with the Sunday things, build up to some of the Friday things. Some of the events like the dance and worship band are probably not going to be till we're back in person, but hopefully, God willing, that will be soon anyway.
Okay, so if this is the last video, how will they find out when things are starting and how to get onto things and this, that and the other?
That's a good question. We will be emailing your parentals and grown-ups.
Can I just pause? Does anyone else love that every time for the last year that Ruth has mentioned anything about an email, she does this? I love it. And I had to mention it because this is the last time.
This is how I email.
She does this. Email.
So yeah, we will email your grown-ups and let them know links, let them know other bits that are going off. If for whatever reason we do have technical difficulties and it does go on an extra week, we will let them know via email and we will send something out for you to watch. But we're hoping it's going to start next week.
Okay. And then finally, why 1212 Ministries?
Well, obviously church, I don't know if you've been watching all the Sundays, but we've been focusing both in connect groups and in the Sunday morning meetings in grown-up church about hope and how God is a God of hope. And I think that's really important. And God has also been speaking to us about the fact that we need to be disciples. It needs to be more than just us coming to church, not just attending, but actually believing and having that relationship with God even when it gets tough, even when it's hard. And so we were looking for a Bible verse that sort of sums this up. So if you look in Romans 12, verse 12, so 12:12, it says, depending on your version, be happy because of the hope, excuse me, the hope that you've been given. Be patient when you have troubles and pray all of the time. So it talks about being happy because you have hope.
We do have hope. Hope in God.
Hope in God.
He is our God. He is our God and He is our hope.
Being patient in the trouble, so that's kind of linked with what I talked about today with Joseph and holding on to that promise through it, that, you know, life's not always going to be great as Christians, but we can hold on to God through it. And praying all the time, I think it's something that a lot of us have missed, that connection to God through it all, I think is really important. And that's what we want as the basis of all of those ministries, is God as our hope, God that is with us even through the hard times, and a God that we have a connection with because we pray all the time. So it's about that connection to God, that hope that He gives us, and about it being no matter COVID, not COVID, all the bits in between.
I like it. Do you know what I also like? Right.
What?
So this ministry is all about building disciples and stuff. And how many disciples were there?
There were 12.
There were 12, and we're 12 ministries. I love
Okay.
it. It's like full circle. Okay, so is there anything else you want to say?
Two things. I always have two things. Jenny always laughs at me that I always have two things left to say. Firstly, a big thank you to all the grown-ups who have said that they're willing to be part of the team, who've given ideas, who've taken on different bits, who are keeping the bits that they did before. I could not do this on my own. We could not do this on our own. And you lot deserve the very best, and those grown-ups are willing to give it. So a big thank you to those who are willing to give of their time and their selves in order to give 1212 Ministries the best that we can have. And secondly, for you lot, I get that this year has been a weird year. Like, who'd have thought when we were out in the back room and we were learning about seeking God, that a year after that we would be in lockdown number 3. Like, we wouldn't have thought that. We wouldn't have envisaged what that would be like. And I know that it's been hard just having your only connection to kids' church being just a short video. And I just want to encourage you that, you know, our God is amazing. And He loves you completely and utterly. And for some of you, He's enjoyed spending this time with you. But for some of you, I think God has really missed you and missed spending time with you. And just like you've missed your friends, He's missed you. And I want you to get excited. I want this to be something that you are expectant. That means sort of, what does expectant mean? Like, excited about what God's going to do. I want you to be excited about what God's going to do again. We're going to have these meetings. We're going to see each other, which is going to be great. Not in real life quite yet, but we're going to see each other. And I want you to be really excited about seeing each other and about spending some time talking about God and learning about God and connecting back with God, and showing others what we've experienced this year with God. And yeah, I just want you to be excited and expectant for what God's going to do.
Excellent. And that there concludes our final Kids Church video.
I think we should pray.
Are you praying?
Sure.
Okay. For the last time, guys, on YouTube, let us assume the position.
Lord, I thank you that you have a plan and a purpose. I thank you that you knew what was going to happen before it happened, and that you've been with us along each step of the way. I thank you that whether it was making kids' church videos at our house or kids' church videos here, whether it was planning or taking on youth or taking on kids, whatever it's been, I thank you that you've been with us along each step of this year. And Lord, I pray for each and every kid and youth member watching. I pray, Lord, that you will make them excited about what you're going to do next, that you will inspire them to engage and connect and encounter and meet you. I pray, Lord, that you'll help them to be happy because of the hope that you've put in their hearts, that you will help them to continue to be patient through this troubling time, and that you will allow them to pray and connect with you all the time, continuously throughout their days. I pray, Lord, that you will put your hand upon 1212 Ministries and that you will do something amazing through each and every bit. Lord, we thank you for everyone who has been faithful throughout the Kids Church videos, and we thank you for this amazing season that we've had together, and we give it to you and ask that you use it in an amazing way. But we ask that you don't leave us, but you go before us into this next season that you have with us. And I pray, Lord, that you'll do something amazing there too. Amen.
Amen. Sad times, but it's going to be great. Things are going to change, but it's going to be great.
Hi, guys.
Bye.
See you on Zoom.